Good evening, everybody. It is Steve with Real Progressives. I was going to take a moment, but my live streams seem to be therapy for me at times. In a very, very confusing world, in a world where everyone is distracted so easily pushed out of their lane and easily given to a loss of focus, I realized that I came into this thinking how easy it would be to position for progressives, forget conservatives, forget libertarians. I came into this believing that a New Deal would speak to the heart of the progressive community. A New Deal. I hear you guys talking about how you want health care, right? Okay, pretty fair deal, man. It's an important thing. Seems like a progressive thing. You want Medicare for all? You want more than Medicare for all. Whatever. It is a progressive value, right? You say that you want free college and you want your kids unstrapped from all that burden of student debt. And many of the elderly that went back to school because they were displaced. You say that you want them to be able to get rid of student debt and you'd like to see them have free access to free college as an investment to our nation. Sounds like a progressive value to me. Sounds like something a progressive would fight for. You say that you want green energy. You say that you don't want wars for oil anymore. Sounds pretty damn progressive to me, right? And so you say, well, how do we stop wars for oil? And how do we make sure that we take away the incentive by going to green energy? Very, very progressive. More than just a one-off deal, though, correct? It's a big deal. Then you say, I'm tired of taking my life into my own hands with the bridges that we cross. I'm tired of wondering if our energy grid's going down. I'm tired of wondering whether or not our schools are safe for our kids to be in. Crumbling infrastructure everywhere. The levees down in New Orleans could burst any time. The water in many cities unfit to drink. Our infrastructure is in ill repair. We want to fix it. Sounds pretty damn progressive to me. Okay. Then you say, hey, 45,000 people a year commit suicide from joblessness. Why don't we take these people and provide them with a job guarantee? Okay, that's the goddamn most progressive thing I've ever heard. UBI is libertarian, so I'm not interested in that. But a federal job guarantee where they serve the public purpose, the community, that sounds pretty damn progressive to me. So you put all this together and you say, this should be a pretty easy sell to progressives. I can certainly understand conservatives pushing back on that. I can certainly understand LOL libertarians who don't like big government touching their lives pushing back on that. But I can't fathom a progressive pushing back on any of that. So why is it that day in and day out, I see the spectrum of what we'll call progressivism going across the nation? People diverting their attention to a million things. Do you think for a minute that we can defeat conservatives in the idea battle when you talk about those things that I just laid out? When you've got progressives erroneously believing that somehow or another a commodity like Bitcoin is going to give them those things that I just stated. You would have to be an utter moron to believe that. Bitcoin is I got mine commodity. It's an investment. It is not a currency, and it's not giving you health care. It's not giving you green energy. It's not giving you free college. It's not giving you anything. It's giving you one person, one thing, Ayn Rand style, I got mine, fuck you. That's it. And it's not even a currency at all. It's a commodity like gold or cotton. So then you say, well, a UBI is exactly like a school voucher, which progressives stand against firmly. Because if everybody gets the school voucher, all that ends up happening is the rich people take their vouchers, take their kids to another private school, and leave the old schools derelict yet again. Because it's just status quo. It is just preserving the status quo. So why is it that lefties, progressives, have bought into the Milton Friedman, right-wing crazy Milton Friedman, UBI Trojan horse that destroys the social safety net? Why is it that progressives have bought into two major distractagons in the Bitcoin bullshit, which is not a currency? It's libertarian yet again. And the UBI, which is not progressive at all. It is a Trojan horse of the libertarians. The Koch brothers want a UBI. Do you have any clue why the Koch brothers want a UBI? It has nothing to do with the fact that they care about people. It's the fact that they want to dismantle the entire social safety net. Once again, privatizing your existence. This is what a UBI does. But look at this, our progressive community running around once again. Go back to what I started with. The New Deal should be so simple to get progressives to band behind. But progressives can't get out of their own way. You can't even look at Donald Trump. You can't even look at the Republican Party and say the bad guys. Why is that? Because our own people will sabotage our ability to have a New Deal. I was talking to an individual on my team earlier today asking about, it's like, oh my God, I'm so ready to just dump this shit and be done. I'm tired of the community shooting itself in the junk sack. Why is it that we can't stay focused? Why is it that as soon as the next shiny object comes running around, some coolio thinks they found the answer? I'm dumbfounded. Dumbfounded. A New Deal is the easiest sell in the books, and yet we can't even sell it in the progressive community. Ayn Rand, the scummiest scumsucker of them all, wrote her Atlas Shrugged and her Fountainhead and all the other gibberish about makers and takers. The individualist society. That libertarian mindset does not look out for the collective good at all. I didn't become a progressive so that I could be about, I got mine, fuck you. I became a progressive because I realized even in the best of times, we need each other. Even in the worst of times, we need each other. We can't do great things, one here, one there. But here we are. That's exactly what's happening. I got mine. Go pound sand. Chasing after that dollar, you good socialists, you. Healthcare. College. Job guarantee. Expanded Social Security. Paid family and medical leave. Remember these things? Remember any of them? Infrastructure. Rebuilding our bridges and roads. Rebuilding our levees so that we don't have any more Katrinas. But people are chasing Bitcoin. I don't even have words for how disgusted that makes me. You want to talk about the man laughing at the people, laughing at the 99%, watching the little people scurry back and forth. Do you know Bitcoin itself, to mine one Bitcoin, believe I'm going to screw this up, but it doesn't matter. You can fact check and look it up. It's like just to mine one Bitcoin requires the energy to power a house for 9 days. It is an ecological, environmental disaster. And it's not a state currency. It is not providing you the things we need. It's a commodity. It's an investment. I'm investing in pork bellies. Pork bellies are on the rise. It's a great investment. Well, good. Knock yourself out. But don't you dare tell me you're an environmentalist. If you're playing the Bitcoin game, don't even try it. Don't even try it. And please, dear God, don't tell me you care about wars for oil anymore. I'm begging you, save it because I got your number. Don't you dare tell me. And don't you dare tell me you're about equality, because let me tell you something. In order to mine a Bitcoin, you've got to have supercomputers now. How many of you and I have supercomputers? How many of us have the wherewithal to mine a Bitcoin? It's the wealthy. It's the Silicon Valley rich kids. This is not how we solve poverty. This is libertarian, I got mine, fuck you thinking. How disgusting. Now, if you want to go invest your money, that's not my problem. Go knock yourself out. I might do it someday. But stop distracting the hard work of having a new deal to save lives by your bullshit. Stop. Do you understand? Bitcoin. Ellis Winningham had a great point earlier today. It was a fantastic point. And you know, Ellis just absolutely crushes it so often with his posts. But what Ellis did was he basically told us, and I'll put it up here on the screen for you to see. So you got 30,000 worth of Bitcoin. That's great. Isn't that just precious? One thing though, note that it is $30,000 worth of Bitcoin and not 30,000 Bitcoin worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't a currency, it's a commodity. See how that works? Now, maybe you guys are okay with losing constantly. Maybe you get off on the struggle so much you'd rather lose so you can point at the man than actually organize and fight for each other. Maybe that's your game. Maybe you like losing so much. Maybe you're so used to losing that the idea of uniting for a new deal isn't as enticing as running around being cool guys sitting with your arm on the, yeah, I invest in Bitcoin, man. Yeah, man. I'm cool. Yeah, man. Totally rad. Right, man? I'm so cool. At some point in time, you're going to realize that being libertarian and being progressive are not the same thing. You're not solving income inequality. You're not solving equality in life. You're not doing anything. What you're doing is a whole lot of I got mine, fuck you. Now the UBI, let's get to that for a minute because that's another favorite of the libertarian anarchists that have penetrated the progressive movement. The UBI is a favorite of the wealthy Koch brothers and the other libertarians because they desperately want to destroy the federal government's ability to take care of the needs of the people. Now, let's just say hypothetically the cost of, I don't know, food goes up. Let's say the cost of shelter goes up. Let's say the cost of heat goes up. Here's your $500 a month, sir, or even $500 a week, sir. and the cost of living goes up. You've got nothing but money in your hands. You haven't got the product. You haven't got the resource. You haven't gotten the thing you need to survive. You've got paper. And paper provides access to resources. But without a price anchor, there is nothing to make it not inflationary. With a job guarantee, because this isn't as sexy, it's not as edgy, it doesn't speak to your inner libertarian. But a federal job guarantee serves the community. It's locally administered, it's federally funded with real fiat dollars from the fucking government. Everybody, from the poorest person to a homeless person, can partake in a federal job guarantee, serving the local community as a right if we push for it. But if we get sidetracked with, hey, Bitcoin's up to 12,000, man, I better cash in. Yeah, right. I'm glad there's a few people out there made some big money. Good on you. Way to go. Great investing strategy. But that is not a state currency, and it is not actually saving lives. It is not giving you any of the things we've said. People are still strapped with massive student loan debt that the GOP is currently trying to make it so there are no get out of jail cards on it. Real shit here, guys. Real shit. But then you have the other side of the coin that is almost as egregious as the libertarian scourge filling up the progressive movement. And that is the faux-gressive movement. That is the cult of personality who you try to explain the truth to, and they say, it's like, well, what's your political belief? I'm a burner. Oh, hey, I like Bernie too. What do you think about a job guarantee? What do you think about expanding social? What do you think about Medicare for all? What do you think of my politics is I support Bernie. Well, that's special. It's great. So, but tell me, why are we not fighting for a new deal? Well, Bernie didn't say that, but Bernie didn't. We are never, ever going to get the things we need to survive as a movement if we're easily distracted by the I got mine, fuck you crew and the cult of personality worshiper crew. Neither one of them is actually fighting for anything meaningful. And the whole fight for 15, let me demonstrate that for you in a really graphic way. You fall into a creek in Alaska. Your leg gets trapped under a boulder. The water is up to here. They fight for 15. Guess what? The water's right here. You can see over the water lining. Damn it, they fought for 15, didn't they? Woot, woot. But your nose is still under the water and your mouth is still under the water and you drown. Fist in the air. Fist in the air. Mick resistance hat, check. We need a living wage. Where are the people fighting for a living wage? Have you ever tried to live on $15 an hour? Have you ever tried that? Let me assure you, $15 an hour is destitution still. It is almost impossible to live on $15 an hour. Try it someday. You think you can do it? Try it sometime. I'm sure there's some people out there that can pull it off. And good on you. But I'm telling you right now, to get your teeth fixed, to go to the doctor when you need to go, to pay for your prescriptions when you need them, to pay your electric, to have access to the internet, because God knows, got to have it just to even apply for jobs, right? To have a phone in case of emergency, to do all that. $15 an hour is not a living wage. It's not. So, big effing deal. the guy still dies. What do I have to do to make this clear? I feel not hopeless because the ideas are bad. Shit, man, these ideas that I'm talking about are fucking airtight. They're solid. I feel desperate because too many distractagons, too many people think that they're being coolio edgies. I'm so cool. God, man, I could be a refrigerator on my own. I'm so cool. Yeah, man, cryptocurrency, it's like girls like guys with skills. Like, I don't know, like hunting badger or something, nunchuck skills, plus 20 die. Can I be dungeon master tonight? We need people focused. I'm not joking. You can take my word for it or you can not take my word for it. But I'm telling you straight up, if you guys don't realize that without a focused attention, you're going to continue having wars for oil. It's not wars for the US dollar because of the petrodollar. It's wars for access to oil. It's wars for resources, not for the petrodollar anything. It's access to resources. It'll be access to water. It'll be access to whatever. If we go to green energy, there is no more need for a war for oil. Do you understand? And you're not getting green energy because your fist is in the air and because you're locking arms at a pipeline. That's not how it's going to happen. It's great, but it's not going to happen that way. In order to really, really make the case that we have got to go to green energy, you must actually subsidize the investment in green energy. That means that the businesses that you can't stand, you're going to, in order to bypass all the heartache and headache and all the bullshit that goes with fighting with the other side that you haven't even gotten to yet because we can't even get our own to focus. Pretend like we're focused for a minute. We have to get them to sign on too. We're outnumbered because our numbers are full of libertarians that want to focus on fucking Bitcoin. Focus on UBIs and shit like that. Status quo crap. In order for us to achieve that, we are going to need to subsidize the investment and the transition to green energy. And it's going to have to be a massive subsidy to facilitate it in a timely fashion to keep our planet inhabitable. Does that make sense? Do you think we got forever? The way people are focused on Bitcoin as it blows up the environment, you'd think maybe we do have forever, right? Based on these people that act like they're progressive but are really LOL libertarians. And then the burners. Dude, look, I don't have a problem with Bernie. Look, the guy says some things I don't agree with, but he's the best politician out there right now, unfortunately. So with that in mind, he's unfortunately playing this Democrat game. Well, guess what the sycophants do? If Bernie doesn't say it, then it isn't true. It doesn't matter. It's not real. They can't hear anything if he doesn't say it explicitly. If his tweet staff doesn't tweet it explicitly, they can't grasp there's another way. All they are focused on is politics. They're focused on being a part of a group of people. They're not focused on the end result. They're thrilled to death to elect their friends if their friends get elected. They don't care if they actually pass progressive legislation. They just want to be a part of the gang. It makes them feel good to be part of the gang. It's a grouper mentality. It is not a revolutionary mentality. And it is not giving you a new deal. And this is as someone who's saying, I could support Bernie. I could support someone else. I'm not against Bernie at all. I'm against his Dem Enter strategy, but that's another story altogether. I'm not supporting any politician until they go for a New Deal. Do you get this? The Green Party says they want it, but they got screwed up economics. I'm praying they get their head out of their ass on that one. But they're closer than anyone else. They at least are putting the Green New Deal out there. They had a nice event not too long ago. Eric Rydberg, thank you, sir, for calling my name out in that, went out there and spoke about a New Deal, a Green New Deal in California. But this is what it is. Folks, do you understand? This whole thing is about getting the services we need and stopping wars. It doesn't happen if you're constantly chasing the shiny medallions in the cute new libertarian way of fucking the system. You don't get anything, anywhere, anyway. And that means my kids suffer because of your distraction. My children suffer because you can't stay focused. That puts us at odds, doesn't it? It puts us at odds. People sit there and bitch about us talking about MMT all the time. I haven't even mentioned MMT yet. Hardly. I don't think I have until just now. I've just talked about a New Deal. Just a New Deal. Instead of dinking and dunking around the edges, a big one-time package where they put a massive thing of legislation out there like they did under the Great Society, like they did under the real New Deal under FDR. Big batch of freaking awesome kick-ass freaking programs to serve the 99%. Why are we not fighting for that? Why are we not fighting for that? Why are we allowing so-called leaders to collect people? Just be people collectors. Let's move these people over here. Let's move these people over here. We pull them all together and we have one purpose, and that's a New Deal. That's what my take on it is. I don't care what party you're in. Republicans, you're welcome to join too if you want to help. We need a New Deal. Stay focused, my friends. My heart can't take the distractions from this movement anymore. This movement is so easily led astray. And then people bellyache and whine. Oh my God, he was mean. He triggered me. He said things I couldn't stand. It bothered me. It hurt my feelings. You know what? It hurts my feelings when I think about my kids suffering for your distractions. So we're even. We're even. You hurt my feelings when you can't stay focused. I hurt your feelings from demanding you stay focused. You hurt my feelings for being like a child, distracted. And libertarians, how in the world do you reconcile? I know there's left libertarians, so I don't want to confuse the issue here. That's a different story all in all. But when you're looking to eliminate programs and you're looking to focus on self, like Ayn Rand and the Koch brothers, and you're claiming progressive credentials, we got a problem. We got a real problem. Anyway, Joe Firestone will be on later tonight with Michael Hexter. Tomorrow, I will have the Warren Mosler on with me at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow night, I'll have my friend Nathan Tankus rejoin us, where we'll be talking about trade. And I am very, very excited. So with that, I'm Steve Grumbine, Real Progressives. Have a good night.